Kai wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was just holding the door. It was a normal afternoon on the Harmony Station, an enormous spaceport where humans and aliens from dozens of species lived and worked together. Kai, a maintenance technician from Earth, had just finished his lunch. Carrying his small toolbox, he walked out of the cafeteria and noticed someone behind him. As a habit, he held the door open. The tall alien woman stepped through. Her skin had a deep silvery tone that shimmered under the station lights. Her long dark hair was tied back in tight braids, and her sharp eyes met his with a strange look. She didn't say anything, just paused, blinked once, then nodded slowly. Kai gave a polite smile and walked away. But that wasn't the end of it. Later that day, while Kai was fixing a broken panel in the greenhouse sector, he heard heavy footsteps. When he turned around, the same alien woman was there, just standing, watching him. He frowned. Hi. Can I help you with something? She tilted her head slightly. I am Saren, daughter of Clan Morval. Oh. Okay. I'm Kai. He replied awkwardly. Do you need help with something? She stepped closer. You held the door for me. This act in my culture means something deep. It is a respectful offer, one that carries great weight among my people. Kai stared. I just didn't want it to hit you in the face. Saren didn't blink. I accept your gesture. From now on, I shall begin the bonding steps. Kai dropped his wrench. Wait, what? That night, Kai sat in his small station room, wide-eyed and talking to his friend Juno on the comm. Juno, another human working on the far side of the station, laughed so hard he had to mute his mic. You're telling me, Juno said between chuckles, you held a door and now you're engaged? Not engaged. Bonded. Or something like that. She said it's step one, whatever that means. Buddy, sounds like you activated some serious cultural signal. Kai groaned. I didn't mean to. I was being nice. Juno shook his head. Well, next time, maybe let the door hit them. Not helping. The next day was worse. As soon as Kai stepped into the corridor, Saren was there. She walked beside him, silent and alert. Other aliens on the station nodded politely to her, and to him. Some even gave curious smiles or subtle bows. She's the daughter of a high clan, whispered one of the human doctors nearby. A war-born people. They don't take bonding lightly. Kai spun around. Can someone please explain what bonding means before I accidentally marry an alien warrior? Saren spoke before anyone else could. It means I recognize you as a person of value. I have begun steps to see if we are compatible for future unity. Physical, emotional, and mental. Kai blinked. But we just met. In my culture, respect is the foundation of all things, and you offered it freely. By midday, Kai tried hiding in the repair bay. It didn't help. Saren found him again. This time she brought a gift, a small pendant made of stone, carved with strange symbols. Kai looked at it with wide eyes. What's this? A symbol of interest. It is the first gift in our bonding tradition. He slowly handed it back. Saren, I really think there's a misunderstanding. Where I come from, holding the door open is just basic manners. She nodded. Your culture must be very noble if such acts are common. No, I mean yes, but no, I wasn't offering anything serious. Her expression changed for the first time. She looked disappointed, but only for a second. Then let us clarify our intentions, she said calmly. In public. That is the Valari way. An hour later, Kai found himself standing in the central plaza of the station. A few humans, several aliens, and 3 Valari elders had gathered. Apparently, word traveled fast. Saren stood proudly beside him, her chin raised. The elders asked questions. Kai answered nervously, explaining how human culture worked, how kindness didn't always mean commitment. The oldest Valari woman looked thoughtful. So among your kind, politeness is common? Kai nodded quickly. Yes, we do things like that every day, no mating involved. Another elder chuckled. Strange and admirable, Your race must be deeply trusting. Kai wasn't sure how to respond to that. Then Saren stepped forward. If he does not wish to continue the bond, I shall respect it, but I will stay near, for protection. He is not strong, but he is honorable. That is rare. Kai sighed. I'm strong enough, thank you. She raised an eyebrow. We shall see. That night, Kai looked up Valeri Customs on his datapad. It confirmed everything. The act of opening a door, a literal, ceremonial gesture, was once used to begin ancient bond trials. In old stories, warriors opened temple doors to those they wished to stand beside forever. No wonder she took it that way, Kai muttered. He leaned back in his chair and stared at the pendant she had left behind, still on his table. He hadn't returned it, and for some reason, he didn't throw it away. Outside, the stars glittered through the station windows, and in the hallway beyond, Saren sat cross-legged, guarding his door silently. The next morning, Kai woke up to the sound of someone knocking, not on his door but guarding it. When he opened the door, Saren stood there with her arms crossed, wearing polished armor. She looked calm, alert, and perfectly serious. I brought breakfast. Kai stared at the small meal tray she held out. Some fruits, a flask of warm liquid, and something that smelled like spiced bread. Thank you, he said, accepting the tray awkwardly. But you don't have to do this. I do. It is the second step, she replied, walking inside without asking. I serve you a morning meal to show I care for your strength. Kai blinked. Okay, well, I appreciate that. But Saren, we're not doing any of these steps, remember? We talked about this. I remember. But I also said I would stay near to protect you. This is how I was raised. Her tone softened slightly. You may not accept my bond, but you have earned my loyalty. Kai ran a hand through his hair and muttered under his breath. What did I get myself into? Word spread fast through Harmony Station. A human technician accidentally bonding with a Valari daughter was apparently big news. Everywhere Kai went, people looked at him differently. Some smiled, some nodded, some laughed quietly when they thought he wasn't listening. In the cafeteria, a group of alien officers whispered as Saren pulled out a chair for Kai and stood behind him like a bodyguard. He tried to ignore them. So, said Relo, a Selenian engineer sitting nearby. Are humans into tall warrior women now? Kai dropped his spoon. No, this is all a big misunderstanding. Saren didn't seem offended. He is not yet ready for union, but his kindness is not forgotten. Rilo raised his brows. Sounds like she's serious. Kai groaned. I didn't mean to start a relationship, I just held the door. Later that day, while checking power conduits on Deck 4, Kai noticed something strange. A group of unknown aliens were watching him. They didn't look like station workers. Their clothes were dark and unmarked. Their eyes followed his every move. Saren saw them too. Her entire posture changed. She moved closer to Kai, her hand resting near the blade strapped to her leg. Who are they? Kai whispered. Not Valari. Not part of this station. Likely from the uncharted trades, she said quietly. They deal in secrets and danger. Kai tried to act normal, but his nerves spiked. Should I be worried? Saren nodded slowly. Yes, but not while I'm near. That night, Kai returned to his room and found his door had been slightly opened. He froze. Inside, nothing seemed broken. Nothing was stolen, but his locker had been moved, and his tools were touched. He called security, but they found no trace of forced entry. No signs of hacking, the officer said. Maybe just a mistake. Kai knew better, and so did Saren. They were checking your things, she said once the officers left. Searching, marking you. Why me? Kai asked, sitting down. I'm just a repair tech. Saren remained silent for a moment. Then she said something that made his skin crawl. Because I chose you, and my clan is not without enemies. The following day, Saren spoke to her contacts in the Valerie embassy. She discovered that the group watching Kai had been linked to minor raids on Valeri's ships, spies and scavengers from the outer systems. Kai listened quietly as she explained it to him. "They may think you have something," she said. "A code. A key. Or they may simply want to embarrass my family by harming someone I publicly honored." "This is insane," Kai muttered. "All because I held a door open. Your actions may have been small to you, but to us, it meant more." Her voice grew firm. "And now you are in danger, whether you like it or not." Kai looked at her and sighed. "So what do we do?" Saren smiled slightly. "We do what your kind is famous for. We adapt." That afternoon, Saren took Kai to the Valari quarters. It was the first time he saw how her people lived aboard the station. Their section was quiet, filled with flowing banners, polished stone, and warriors training in silence. He felt out of place, but strangely welcome. Several Valari greeted him with a nod. One even called him Honor Chosen. Saren introduced him to her cousin, a calmer, older Valari woman named Orala. She studied Kai carefully. "This one is small," Orala said, "but he has clear eyes. He sees more than most." "Thank you?" Kai said, unsure. "He needs to learn our ways," Saren said. "If he is to survive." Kai raised a brow. "Survive?" Orala chuckled. "You're not in danger of death, just embarrassment and confusion." Kai muttered, "Too late for that." Over the next few days, Saren trained Kai in simple Valari customs: how to speak without insult, how to walk with purpose, and even how to deflect questions with dignity. Despite everything, Kai found himself enjoying her company. She was strong but calm, direct but fair, and when she laughed, which was rare, it was like hearing stone crack and reveal light beneath. She never pushed the bond again, but she stayed close. One day, while fixing a damaged console in the station's docking bay, Kai noticed something odd: a small device stuck under the control panel. He carefully removed it. It was a tracker. He showed it to Saren. "They marked you," she said coldly. "They plan to follow your movements." Kai stared at the tiny blinking light and realized this was more serious than a joke or misunderstanding. "I think I need your help," he said softly. Saren looked at him, and for the first time, he saw her relax a little. "You've had it from the beginning," she said. "You just didn't know it." That night, as they sat together in the station's observation deck, watching stars drift by in silence, Kai spoke again. "I still don't understand your customs," he admitted. "But I'm glad you stayed." Saren turned to him. "So, he looked at her. "And the bonding thing?" "I will not force it," she said with a faint smile. "But if you ever decide to open a door again, do it slowly, with warning." Kai chuckled. "Noted." Kai had never stood in front of so many aliens before. The grand hall in the Valari sector was full. Warriors, elders, and even a few station officials sat in the curved seats that rose in tiers above the floor. At the center, under soft golden lights, stood Kai in borrowed Valari robes. Next to him stood Saren, calm, tall, proud. Across from them stood two Valari males, dressed in ceremonial armor. One had sharp eyes and a scar across his cheek. The other looked younger, but he carried a heavy energy staff. Kai leaned toward Saren and whispered, "You sure this isn't a fight?" "No," she replied quietly. "It is a test of intention, a bonding tradition. No one gets hurt, not physically." That "not physically" part is not helping. Saren gave him a rare smile. "Just answer honestly. You are already confusing them by being here." Kai took a deep breath. "Yeah, I get that a lot." The trial, known as the Juron Path, was an old Valari tradition. Normally, if more than one suitor showed interest in someone, they would each go through a test to prove their worth. But this time, it was reversed. Because Saren had shown public interest in Kai, and because he was human, he had to prove his worthiness to reject her properly. Yes, that was the rule. Kai didn't know whether to laugh or panic. The trial had 3 parts: reason, action, and truth. The first test began. A respected elder stepped forward and spoke. "Human, do you understand the meaning of her choice?" Kai nodded nervously. "I think I do. She chose me because I held a door open, and in your culture, that means a lot more than it does in mine." There were a few chuckles from the crowd. The elder nodded. "Do you intend to bond with her?" Kai looked at Saren. She's strong, brave, and kind in her own way. But no, I didn't mean to begin anything like that. A few whispers followed his words. The elder raised a hand to silence them. "Then explain why you are still here by her side." Kai took a breath. "Because I respect her, and because now someone's watching us. She's in danger. I might be too, but even without that, I don't run from people who treat me like I matter." That answer made the room quiet. Even Saren blinked at him slowly, surprised. The second test was strange. He was taken to a circle of colored tiles and told to walk across them while blindfolded. Saren had taught him that Valari used symbolic challenges to measure focus and trust. Each step was meant to show balance, not just physical but emotional. He stumbled once but steadied himself. The younger Valari male, one of Saren's former suitors, had mocked him before it began. Now he stood silent as Kai finished the walk. Elder nodded in approval. His steps are uncertain but honest. Kai pulled off the blindfold, wiping sweat from his brow. "Do I win anything if I make it through?" "Yes," Saren said from the edge of the platform. "You win the right to leave with your pride." "That's good, because I left my dignity somewhere near the second tile." Then came the final test, truth. This one surprised Kai the most. He was asked to sit before a truth orb, a small glowing sphere that hummed when someone lied. Saren sat across from him. A voice echoed from the tribunal. "Do you care for the Valari who chose you?" Kai looked at Saren. She was strong, confident, respected by her people, and yet she had risked embarrassment to stand by him. He nodded. "Yes, I do. Maybe not the way your people expect, but I care. She's the best person I've met here." The orb stayed quiet. No hum. Another question. "Would you protect her, even if you gain nothing in return?" Kai didn't hesitate. "Yes, because she's already protected me, and that means something where I come from." Still no hum. Then came the final question. "Do you reject the bond?" Kai paused. Everyone leaned forward. Finally he answered, "Yes, not because she's not worthy, but because I didn't understand what I was doing when it all started. And I won't pretend something this important means less than it does." Silence. The orb stayed still. The hall remained quiet for a long moment. Then the eldest Valari woman stood. "This human speaks with honesty. He has not disrespected the bond. He has walked the Juron path with no deception." She looked down at Kai. "You are free to go, human. The bond is not forced, but it is not forgotten." Kai stood and gave a small, respectful bow. "Thank you." Later that evening, Kai and Saren sat together in the quiet of a resting chamber. "I didn't think I'd make it through," he said, sipping cool tea. "You did more than that," Saren replied. "You honored my people, even in refusal." He looked at her. "Are you upset?" She shook her head. "Disappointed, maybe a little, but only because I saw something rare in you. I'm just a guy who fixes wires and gets lost on the station." "No," Saren said. "You're a human who made a choice, honestly. That is more powerful than charm or strength." Kai smiled a little. "Well, thanks for not stabbing me during the trial." "You're welcome." The thought only crossed my mind once. He laughed softly. "So what happens now?" "You are no longer under the rituals," Saren said. "But I will still walk beside you, as a comrade, and as someone who will keep watching your back." Kai looked up at the ceiling. Stars blinked through the station dome. "Sounds fair," he said. "But if I hold a door open for someone else, will I start all this over again?" Saren smirked. "If it's a Valari, probably." Kai groaned. "I need to stop being polite." The days that followed the Juron Path trial were quieter, at least on the surface. Kai thought the strange attention might fade. He was wrong. Saren continued to walk beside him, her presence both a shield and a question mark. People on the station still whispered. Some looked at Kai with new respect, others with disbelief. But most of all, Kai felt a growing bond. Not the kind the Valari expected, but something real. One evening, Saren invited Kai to her private quarters. It was the first time he saw beyond the formal walls and polished surfaces. Inside, the room was filled with warm light. Soft cushions lay scattered near a low table. Ancient Valari tapestries hung on the walls, telling stories of warriors and peace. Saren sat down, gesturing for Kai to do the same. "I want to tell you why I chose you," she began quietly. Kai nodded. "I'm listening." Saren looked down at her hands. "My clan is in trouble. There is an old feud with another family, the Morzal. They want to force me into a bond with their leader to end it." Kai frowned. "A political marriage?" "Yes. But in our culture, bonds are sacred. Forced unions bring dishonor and weakness." Kai leaned forward. "So you chose me to avoid that?" She nodded. "I needed a way to delay, a way to protect myself without angering my people." Kai's mind raced. "But why me? I'm just a human, a stranger." Saren's eyes met his. "Because you were kind without expecting anything, because you were honest, and because you did not run." Kai smiled softly. "Well, I'm glad my bad habit helped." That night, Kai thought deeply about what Saren had said. He realized the weight of his accidental bond. It was more than just a cultural misunderstanding. It was a chance to change a tradition rooted in politics and power. He looked at the pendant she had given him, still resting on his bedside table. It was a symbol of something ancient, and now, of something new. The next day, as they walked through the station corridors, Kai asked, "Is there any way I can help? I don't want to just be a guest in this." Saren smiled gently. "There is a way, but it is not easy." Saren explained the ritual of the reckoning, a secret ceremony held only by the ruling clans to settle disputes. It was part ritual, part negotiation, part test of loyalty. "This ceremony will decide if I must accept the forced bond or if there is another path," Saren said. "I need someone to stand with me." Kai nodded. "I'm with you." She looked, surprised but pleased. "Your people may be small, but your courage is large." Kai laughed. "I'm not sure if I'm brave or just stubborn." As the reckoning approached, tensions grew. The Morzal clan sent representatives to the station. Their leader, a tall Valari with cold eyes, demanded the bond be accepted. The ruling council watched silently. Kai felt the weight of the moment. During the ceremony, Saren spoke with strength. She explained why she refused the forced bond and why she wanted freedom to choose her own path. Kai stood beside her, offering quiet support. The Morzal leader sneered. "This human does not understand our ways." Kai stepped forward. "Maybe. But I understand respect and choice." His words surprised many. After hours of debate and ritual, the council made a decision. Saren would be allowed to remain unbonded, free to choose her own path. And Kai, the human who had shown honesty and kindness, would be honored as her friend and protector. The ruling elders looked at Kai with new respect. Saren turned to Kai, smiling softly. "You have done more than hold a door open. You have opened a new way." Kai grinned. "Guess I'm better at opening doors than I thought." Later, Kai and Saren sat together in the quiet of the station garden. "I never thought I'd be part of something so important," Kai said. Saren looked at him. "You are more than you know." Kai smiled, feeling a new strength inside. "And no more accidental bonds," he added. Saren laughed softly. "I cannot promise that." Kai shook his head, but he was ready for whatever came next. The day of the public tribunal arrived faster than Kai expected. The large hall in Harmony Station was filled with representatives from many species. The Valari Council had invited the community to witness the final decision about Saren and Kai's unusual bond. Kai felt nervous but determined. He knew this moment would change more than just their futures. Saren stood beside him, regal and calm. Her usual armor was replaced by formal robes adorned with clan symbols. Kai adjusted the simple suit he had borrowed. It felt strange, but he knew appearances mattered here. The tribunal began with formal speeches. The Valari elders spoke of tradition, honor, and respect for culture. The Morzal clan's leader spoke with cold authority, insisting the bond was necessary. Then the council turned to Kai. All eyes focused on him. Kai took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I did not mean to start this bond," he said clearly, "but I will not deny what it taught me." He looked at Saren. "I respect her. I respect her choices. And I respect her people." Kai paused, then raised his voice. "But I ask this council to remember, kindness and respect can change even the oldest traditions." A murmur spread through the crowd. Kai continued, "I reject the mating bond, but I accept a new bond. A bond of friendship, trust, and freedom. One that honors choice, not force." Silence fell. Then the eldest Valari elder nodded slowly. "This is a new path, one we have not walked before." Another elder spoke. "The human has shown courage and honor. He does not follow tradition blindly but understands its meaning." The council whispered among themselves. Finally, the lead elder rose. "We accept this new bond, not one of blood or ceremony, but of respect and will." A wave of relief and applause followed. Saren smiled, tears shining in her eyes. She reached for Kai's hand and squeezed it gently. "You have done what many feared to try," she said. "You have changed the way of my people." Kai smiled back. "All I did was hold a door open." After the tribunal, Kai and Saren walked through the station corridors. People greeted them warmly. Some approached to shake Kai's hand or ask questions. Kai felt proud, not because he was a hero, but because he had been honest and kind. Saren leaned close and whispered, "You are no longer just a visitor. You are part of the Valari story." Kai chuckled. "That story started with a door. I hope it doesn't end with one." That night, as they watched stars through the station windows, Kai asked, "What happens now?" Saren looked at him thoughtfully. "Now, we live as we choose. No forced bonds, no fear. Just respect." Kai smiled. "Sounds like the best bond I've ever heard." They sat quietly, side by side. The galaxy stretched before them, full of challenges, mysteries, and new beginnings.